Okay, let's turn that down. All right, I hope I'm coming through to you guys with no echo. I might have an echo. Testing. Let me know if you guys have an echo on your side. Hey, Miss Allen. Hey, Miss Jerry. Hey, Miss Waters. You guys let me know if I have an echo or any feedback. Because I feel like I got some feedback going on. What's going on, Mr. Richard? No echo? Okay, great. Okay, great. Okay, great. How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? Honey. A little. Okay, let me but wait, I don't want to end the broadcast. I just want okay, that should get rid of it, hopefully. Hey, Miss Gerald. Miss Vicky, Miss Cassandra Morrow. Girl, I haven't seen you in forever, Miss Cassandra. You need to inbox me, love. Hi, Miss Cindy. Hey, Trayshawn. Hey, Miss Gabby. Hey, Leo. Hey, Miss Crawford. Hi, Miss Ashley. Okay, cool. You good on Facebook? No echo. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I'm gonna be using the phone to do a little bit of tonight's live, and I was trying to just pre-log in, but it was giving me some feedback, and I could hear myself, so that wasn't no good. I missed y'all last week. Last week I was sick, so I couldn't come on. Dr. Minnie in there told me that I couldn't do the live. She was like, "Mommy, you don't feel good. You need to just lay down." So Minnie put me on bed rest last week, but I'm back this week. Despite all y'all, let me tell y'all, this has been a crazy week for me. I have replaced my stove, my refrigerator, and one of the toilets in my house. This week has been crazy. Okay. It's been appliance week over here. So I've had to replace so much stuff. You welcome, Miss Ashley. Honey, listen, this week has been a crazy, crazy week, but I'm here and I'm excited about being here tonight. I have this mold that I want to show you guys tonight. And this week, because remember I told y'all I was going to try to have some kind of little sale for y'all every week. But this one is a major like blowout sale. These is probably the lowest. This is probably the lowest that I will do these. The angel wing necklaces. Let me take it out the bag. They are on sale this weekend only, just until Sunday, for $5 for the necklaces. These are sublimation necklaces. So you get the pendant, and my light shining because I needed my chocolate to shine a little bit tonight. But you get the pendant. I have them in silver and in gold. This is the silver one. I just showed y'all the gold one. That light is relentless tonight. So that's the silver one. And then this is the gold one. Now, the beauty about these necklaces is with each order, you get 2 discs. Nobody else is doing that for y'all. You're going to get 2 discs with each order. So each necklace set comes with 2 discs, just in case, because we know crafting is not always perfect. So just in case you mess up on one, you have an extra one. Because with these, it's like one shot. You got one shot. Don't miss your chance. Or you mess it up. But with these sublimation necklaces, you get 2 discs, you get the pendant, and you get the rope style chain. All right. And these are on the website. right now on sale for $5. This weekend only. They're regularly $7.25. So you're gonna save $2.25 per necklace on these. Stock up, y'all. These have been a really big seller for me. This year I've sold a lot of these this year. So and you can sell them anywhere between 25, 30. I've seen people even sell them for $40. So to pay $5 and be able to sell it even if you sell it at the lowest at 25, you still made a $20 profit off that $5 because they're about 1.2 by 1.2 is what you have to make the circle to go ahead and sub on these. And that's it. That's just a little bitty piece of the paper. You can cut that strip off and use the rest of that paper, my loves. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. So that's our sale for the week. Let me see. I want to do a roll call. I want to see where everybody is watching from. If it's your first time watching me, my name is Gucci Crafts, and I am from Northern California, the Bay Area. So I want you guys to go ahead and let me know where you are watching from. Rep your city, rep your state. Also, don't forget to share the live, share, share, share. So let's go ahead and start our roll call. I know I have a lag between Facebook. Hey, Miss Shakia. It's not letting you share. It should let you share. You have to give StreamYard permission because right now I just see your name as Facebook user and I should see your actual name. First timer from Florida. You get on my nerves. Chi-Town's in the house. New Brim, North Carolina. Sugarland, Texas. Hey, Miss McCain. Texas is in the house. SoCal. Hey, Miss Waters. New Orleans, don't nobody say that baby like y'all say that baby, Miss Paula. I love to hear you say baby. Miami Gardens, Florida. What's up, Miss Jerry's in Florida? Louisville, Kentucky's in the house. Wilson, Louisiana. The boots thick up in here tonight. Louisiana. Columbia, South Carolina. Hello, Miss Thompson. Lauren from New Jersey. Oh, Lauren and Sharon, both from New Jersey. Y'all might have found y'all crafting bestie. Boston. What did I say? It said WV. West Virginia, I'm guessing. Atlanta, Georgia. You watching for Mars, Leo? That's where I'm gonna send you when I'm done with this live. You watching for y'all. Look at this foolishness. I'm putting your comment up there, Leo. Let everybody see it. I'm watching for Mars. An alien abducted me, and I'm out of this world. You see her, let me see. That's how it was the first time. Right. You see her, Miss Cindy, acting a fool. Silaholics Anonymous, this is their second time watching. Oh, thank you so much, Silaholics Anonymous. Thank you, Miss Paula. I'm ready for some braids, honey. I'm ready to go ahead and lay Betty on down somewhere and give me some braids. It's getting hot out here in Fairfield. It's getting hot out here like the South. Hey, Miss Angeline Love. All right, so we did our roll call. Make sure that you guys are sharing, share, share, share. If you share, you get the public sharers badge. So I have these new molds that I want to do the tray mold. So I did a little bit of experimenting with Mica Powder and with acrylic paint pens. Okay, so I'm gonna show you Indy in the house. All right. Hey, Miss Lee. Okay, y'all. This is the coaster. Oh my God. This is not beautiful. Oh, this is our 24 karat gold Mica powder. And on this one, what I did is I painted the outside of it with the acrylic paint pens that I got from Amazon. And I'll drop the link. The extra fine point acrylic paint pens. Let me tell y'all something. There is so much that you can do with these molds and so many ways that you can do it, because I was researching, because I was like, okay, well, which part am I going to paint? What colors am I going to paint? How can I do it? We're going to do tonight on the live, the big tray, honey, because I have the big one too. And I seen this concept. Hey, Miss Sonia, and I got to try it. Okay. So now this was, what I did is, let me show y'all the coaster mold, honey, because you can buy these molds separately on the site, or you can buy them together. And if right now I have them, each mold is $19.99, but if you buy them as a set, you get it for $34.99. Now, if I get enough shares tonight, I'm gonna give you guys an extra 10% off of that price if we get enough shares tonight. Okay. Hey, Miss Osha, I think I said it right. So this is the coaster mold. Now, this is the thing about this coaster mold. Okay, so you get the 4 coasters, and then you get the coaster holder, and then these little circles right here, these are the feet that go onto the coaster holder. So I was just playing around and wanted to make a quick little coaster holder real quick. And this one I didn't get to secure. I didn't get it on there in time enough to stay. So I can show you guys. So this is what the coaster holder feet look like, okay? And then you have the coaster holder. Let me put it the right way. In the shape of Africa. Oh my God. So much you can do with this. I just went through and I just dusted a little bit, just so that it wouldn't be clear, so I can show you guys. So I made this real quick. It's not even all the way cured, but I wanted to show you guys what it came out. And so if you buy the set, if you buy both of them together, then you can use the little feet that you get on the coaster mold to hit the back of this tray mold. And when I say tray mold, this is really deep. So once the mold is complete, you're basically able to sit things down inside of this mold. So you can use this as a beauty tray, as a rolling tray, as a beverage tray, whatever it is that you like. And then with your coaster holder, your coasters just fit right in there like that. Oh my God. Let me tell you something. Oh my God. I'm just so in love with this. And again, I used the 24 karat fairy dust that we sell on the site, the Mica Powder. Hey, Miss Honestly Speaking, this your third time, huh? Hey, YouTube, I see you. So I used the 24 karat gold Mica Powder. And what I did, because I really wanted to have it's like I wanted it to be really gold. And so what I did is I dusted the inside of the mold with, I use this one, I think. I dusted the inside of this mold with the gold Mica powder, and then I added a little bit of Mica powder, to the epoxy that I poured inside of the mold. And then I took my acrylic paint pens and I colored the outside of the mold with the acrylic paint pens. And then what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to make sure I have a little bit of extra epoxy left over when we pour for this mold. And what I'm going to try to do is just go over with my finger with the epoxy and seal it. I'm going to sit this on top of 2 cups, and I'm just going to go over lightly just with my finger, just so I can make sure that I seal the paint in there. This paint is really, it's easy to clean up if you have because I had a couple little spots where I got some paint. I'm still looking at it now, see like 1 or 2 little spots, but that's fine because this is for me, so I'm not worried about it. But, it was super relaxing, super easy to paint. The color combinations. I mean, there's animals inside of there. If you can look and see the animals inside of there, you can paint those animals. And they got animals land and sea. So I call this the Mother Goddess mold. So you got land and sea animals. You have the little tree there. You can do all kind of things here with where I'm pointing to with her eyes. I mean, I've seen this mold done in so many different ways. You can make the earring two-tone. I made this as if this was a shirtless, a shoulderless shirt that she had on. But what you can do is you can make this whole bottom part her skin, or you can do these outside parts instead of those being her skin. They can be a part of her shirt. Hey, Miss Beth. Minnie just walked out. She washing her clothes. She getting ready to go to her daddy house in a little bit. She usually gone every other Friday when I do these lives, but she here now. But yeah, so that's what I did with this one. But I mean, the possibilities, the color combinations are just crazy. Now, this was me using the Mica powder to color the epoxy, dusted the mold so I could get a really bright gold finish on the front of it, and it wouldn't be translucent or whatever. And then I did another one, just playing around testing, where I colored it with my Mica powder. I dusted it with the Mica powder, but I left the epoxy clear. So what I'm going to suggest, which I'm going to do on the big one, is that if you go through and you actually dust with the Mica powder, like we're going to do on the bigger mold, then you need to make you lay down, a little layer of clear first, and then go ahead and finish off the mold with a color epoxy. Or like what I'm gonna do is I am going to fill the back with black. So it's gonna fill in certain areas of the mold that I'm not going to paint with black. So it's gonna fill in, like the animals will be filled in black, and I'm just gonna paint the other areas. Like I'm gonna paint the tree and the branches coming up from the tree. The other parts I won't paint so that they'll be black. So it's just all about being strategic when you go in and you do your painting. But I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love. And we have these same colors basically with the Mica powder line that we have on iteachcrafts.com. So we're going to see a couple of those Mica powders. And what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to go in between Q-tips and I have a couple of paint brushes here for the bigger one, and I have a couple of sponge brushes too, but I'm probably going to use some Q-tips for the most part of it, because that's going to be a little bit easier to get in there. I just ordered some other little brushes from Amazon that I think will make it a little easier to maneuver, like some silicone brushes with the Mica powder, but the Q-tips worked out just fine. You also want to make sure when you're doing it that you don't really rub the mold too much. I noticed that when I was doing this one, you can tell in the areas where I kind of was really like rubbing. You don't have to do that. You just have to lay the powder down a little bit, because remember, we want the epoxy to suck up the powder. And it will do that with this mold. Hunty, I'm so sorry. I can't stop looking at it. I just can't. I mean, the colors are just so bright, and you can just do whatever you want. But I really like the gold background in there, and I seen one that was really pretty that had the black background, and so that's what I'm going to try to accomplish with the bigger mold. Just going through practicing on the mold. And of course, with the bigger one, it's made a little bit different. You can see here with the bigger mold, they actually give her more so of a jawline there. And with the smaller mold, you don't have as big of, let me see this one. You don't have as big of a jawline there, even though you can kind of create it, but it's more so the earring that's the focus there on the smaller one. But this one, it is bigger. You do have a lot more room to go through and paint. And you can do several different layers for your outline as far as the mica powder goes. And then you can just take your little Q-tip and go in there and do any cleanup work you need to do with a little bit of water or alcohol for the more stubborn colors. And I went between water and alcohol to do my cleanup. Minnie, everybody said hi. Here she come, y'all. Here she come. I should have never said nothing. Y'all make sure that y'all are sharing.
Share, share, share.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over. I'm going to go ahead and add my phone back.
Just need to share, share, share.
Y'all heard me. Share, share, share.
If you share, you'll get a private class on how to be a kid.
I hope y'all heard her because she said if you share, you're going to get a private class on how to be a kid. I don't think any of us want to go back to that. Trust me.
Only $1 for an hour. $1 for an hour.
Oh, we should show them. Go come on the light, so we should show them our new stove, girl, and our new refrigerator. After we done with this stuff. Yep, she just broke something probably. Probably. Okay, so we're okay. Okay. Y'all let me know if I have an echo. Let me see. How long does it take for the epoxy to set? So you got a new stove and new refrigerator too, Miss Fuck Girl. I didn't want to have to do it, but I had to. So all epoxy is not created equal. So it just all depends. Let me move this to here so maybe my picture get bigger. And it did not. Let me see. Okay, I shouldn't be sideways now. I should be good now. Then we'll be in the money. There we go. So again, all epoxy is, I hope I'm not sideways now. Okay, cool. All epoxy is not created equal. So it all depends on what kind of epoxy or what brand of epoxy you're using, whether you do an epoxy heater, which I don't have. I'm thinking about maybe getting one. I don't know. Maybe put it in the garage. So the epoxy fumes are not blowing all through my house. But the Envirotex, the epoxy that I'm using, it takes about 24 to 48 hours to cure where you can actually maneuver it. These I made last night and I was able to paint them, and you see bending them. This one is pretty good. It's pretty much solid. And it really depends on if you're mixing your epoxy right. Also, temperature plays a very big role with epoxy. The warmer it is, the faster your epoxy will cure and the clearer it will cure. Colder temperatures tend to give you a lot more bubbles. So we're going to get us some Q-tips out here. I'm hoping y'all can see my Q-tips. They right here. We're going to have them right there. Give me some cups so I look professional. And I'm going to back y'all up a little bit. Girl, right, Miss Folk, I done spent a lot of money. I done replaced my refrigerator, my stove, and my toilet this week. Okay? So, Best Buy then got a lot of my money. Let's say that. They done got a lot of my money. I'm going to put a little bit of water. Get a little drink of this, too. This is just going to be for cleanup. I'm going to put a little alcohol in there. That tends to get the mica powder up a little faster. And then we're just going to grab some colors. And I have my paintbrushes here too. All right, so of course we're going to be using our Black Girl Magic for her face, honey. The BGM Black Girl Magic. We're going to do the outside of it in our black sky. And I call it black sky because it kind of has hints of blue in it. I want to do the sea here in Sea Mist. So we have a little ocean part there at the bottom. We're going to do that in Sea Mist. And then Blue Surrender, which got melted by my heat gun last night. We're going to use a little bit of that for parts of the sky. Because we're going to kind of try to like fade the sky. So we're going to use Midnight Purple. And I think I want to do Punch for our sky. And we may add some 24 karat in there somewhere up in that G thing. Okay. And I might add a little lilac for how we're going to do the sky. Yeah, what we can do is we can actually use our 24 karat magic to go around this part. And then we can fill the rest with just the black. All righty, so we're gonna get started with this beauty. And I'm gonna start up here with our sky. So I'm just gonna open up the colors I'm gonna be using for the sky. The Midnight Purple, the Punch. Let's open up our lilac. Got our lilac and our Blue Surrender. All right, so I'm gonna just start and I'm just gonna go in and I'm just gonna dust over. Ooh, did not mean to do that. Already gotta do a cleanup, y'all. Hold on, let's see if I could just brush it off. Nope. I thought it would just come off for me. I didn't want to take you down this far. Let me get a paper towel real quick, which I should have over here. Just do a quick little cleanup real quick. And you see how easy it is to just get that mica powder off. And that's a water and alcohol mix that I'm using. Okay, that should be okay. We're going to do this. And I'm just going to go around the line. Just lightly. using that powder that I already have down. And I'm just going to blot to scoop up some of that extra powder that's there. So I got a little extra with the pink. And I'm just using my brush. I'm going to get in the crevices there. Because remember, we're going to cover this, our back with black. So we want all of our little crevices to have a little bit of powder in them. And you see it just takes one little dip in there with the Q-tip and you get a bunch of powder. You just move around what it is you have. Now I'll get this edge here. Then I'll come and clean up around the edges as well when I'm done before I lay the epoxy. Then we'll do our next color. I think I'm going to throw a little bit of blue in there. Or maybe I'll do the lilac first. The midnight purple. So I'm just dipping a little bit. And that's how much mica powder I have on the Q-tip. You could use a paintbrush as well. And I'm just kind of making like, you know, that pretty sunset, the one you see and you know it's got to be a god because it's so beautiful. So I'm going to fade in the colors. And I'm just lightly rubbing. You don't want to rub too much. Make sure you get those edges so it all colors really pretty. Since we're doing that black background, you can be super intentional with this. I'm going to go and clean up my tree here a little bit because I got some purple on my tree. And you can get Q-tips from the Dollar Tree, so I don't worry about how many of these I use to do this. And I'm not putting a lot of water and alcohol in here when I dip, just enough. And then I use the dry side to make sure that it's dry. Gosh darn it, I got a little extra powder on that one. Let's grab another one. I want my tree to be bright, bright green. So, and then we're going to come in. And I'm going to add a little bit of the blue in there. So you see I'm just sprinkling the blue over. And I'm going to fade it in there just as highlights. Give it some depth. You can really be an artist, darling. Come in there with that. I'm going to use the other end of this for my lilac. Just to add a little bit of a lighter purple fade in there. I'm going to dip a little bit of this onto my bag, just a little bit. Since I'm blending with that darker purple, I don't want it to affect my lighter purple. Somebody outside knocking old school. Just lightly. I don't want those fades. All right. Now I have like my blue. Do a little bit more of the blue. A little lower here. And like I said, you can be really intentional with this. That's probably a lot more mica powder than I need. And it doesn't take a lot to get the mold colored. And again, remember, you don't want to rub too hard because you want all this color to come up when the epoxy comes up. And if some does stay on the mold, don't worry about it. It's nothing a little soap and water can't get off, but we want a lot of color to be on the facing of our mold. These Q-tips really help you get into the tight spaces. And I'm going to get my other side. I'm trying to keep my fade a little even here. Making sure I do this line because I want this line here to be the same colors that are going around. This outer line here, I plan to do in gold. And I'll just dip a little bit of powder on and I'll just use what I have. I'm using this paper towel to protect my other areas just in case a little sprinkle dinkle gets all up on it. And you see it does not take much at all. And you can plop the powder on there and then use what you have and just move it around. And if you feel like you're not getting good color, you can always put a little bit more, or you can dust over it more than once. You see how that changes the color there. You want to try to give even strokes. Because we'll have the black behind it, it won't show our strokes too much, but you want to make sure that you try to keep your strokes even when you go across so you don't have a lot of streaks, or you'll get streaking like I have in this one. See those little streaks? You want to try to keep your strokes even. And get down into your little crevices. And sometimes your little Q-tip will get a little messed up. Just rip off that part and keep it moving to get you in smaller areas. Or like I said, a paintbrush. I ordered some silicone tip paintbrushes from Amazon that I'm going to try out. But I think I'm doing pretty okay with the Q-tips. I feel like I have a little bit of control here over where my powder is actually going. And I can get into the crevices here. Now I can tell you on the smaller one, it is a lot easier to paint than it is to brush the mica powder if you're doing a lot of colors. Like I am. You can always make them solid colors. You don't have to do the food like I do. All right, so far we got a bit of a fade in our skyline. So that's our skyline right there. You want me to zoom in on the mole? Let me see. Well, thank you for joining your first time watching. Here, let me get a little bit closer for you guys. I have a lot going on with the mica powder, so let me just move some things here. And I'm going to see if I can actually get you guys closer to what it is I'm doing. Is that better? You can see where I'm going with my skyline here, how it's fading down. Y'all let me know if this is a better angle. And I forgot to get out the money green for our tree, darling. So this is going to be our money green fairy dust. The mica powder that I'm using is on the I Teach Crafts website, iteachcrafts.com. I'm using our fairy dust collection. I got a little pink in there that needs to come out because I don't want that part to be pink. There we go. And my cleanup is just water and alcohol. Just using water and alcohol. I didn't even measure the parts. I just poured water and poured a little bit of alcohol in there. The water itself will clean it up, but I found that the alcohol just makes it a little bit easier. Comes off a little bit more ease. And so I'm cleaning up around my tree. I'm going to have... You welcome. Okay, cool. Much better. Okay, cool. Y'all got to let me know because I'm looking at myself through the computer screen and I look big to me. So y'all let me know if it's ever an angle that I'm at that is not helping y'all to see. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my light because now that I have the phone over the mold, I don't have the light. So I'm going to move my light real quick, y'all, so that I can see a little bit better. And it should give y'all a better view also. To be able to see what I'm doing. All right, let's see. I want to try to get rid of that shadow. Let's see if we put it. Oh, nope. It's going to have to go over here on the side. All right, now turn it up a little bit. All right, that made it a little bit brighter for me. I hope that helped y'all out too. All right, so we're going to get in here And dang it, move my paper towel. I'll have to do a little cleanup on that, but that's fine. And we're gonna give this tree the green love that it needs here. And I'm gonna make my Q-tip a little smaller. And I'm even taking Mica powder from the rim. Not even really dipping in the bottle. And I drop it on there. And I go through and I'm painting around my edges. I'm adding a little extra. And I'm just moving around the powder that I dropped onto the mold. All right. And this can get a little messy, so that's why I have these garbage bags down. And sometimes you can give a little blow to get something out of an area where you don't want it to be or to knock off that extra. You blow hard enough, it'll just blow over other areas and it won't paint them. I'm going to do a little bit of a cleanup here because I got some green onto my animals here. And I don't want them to be green. I want my animals, with this one, I'm going to keep the animals, all of them black. So I don't want them to have any remnants. And I can always go through and do this at the end as well. Just go through and do cleanup, but I'm trying to clean up as I go so that you guys can see me pour the epoxy for this. And we're not here all night, you know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to clean up my mess as I go. And I just go in with a wet one and then go in with a dry one and get it all up. As much as you can. Don't stress it. Because sometimes you can fade out the lighter color with a darker color anyway, depending on what you're going to do. Okay. Now, we're going to use a little bit of, or you know what, I might just let that be black. No, we're going to do the tree trunk brown at least. And then the land portion here, we can do some of that in green. think I want this to be smaller. And you don't have to do this the way that I'm doing it. You can just go through and do it tricolor. You can just do tricolor. You don't have to paint every single piece. It does come out beautiful when you do it that way, though. It's a work of art. And I think I'm gonna do a couple of these as Mother's Day gifts for some of the women in my family. I think it's a beautiful representation. It has the land and the sea represented here. And that extra brown will go in and clean up. No problem. Yeah, I'm gonna let it sit for a bit before I pour the epoxy. Yeah, we'll talk and all that stuff. I'm not gonna pour the epoxy right after I put the mica powder on. I'm gonna let it sit and fester, and I'll probably do. I'm just trying to clean up as much as I can because the cleanup process, as you can see, sometimes can be tedious depending on the area you're trying to get into. That's why I said it can get messy, but I mean, it's like painting a picture. Or, like I said, you can do this either in tricolor where you brush on, three different colors, or you can make it all one big color. It all depends on how you want to do it. I'm just trying to get as much brown as I can from in between the trees there. I'm just trying to be really intentional with where I put my colors. So I'm just making sure I clean up the little messes that I make as much as possible. And again, you see how easy the mica powder just will come off of the mold. Wet and then a dry one. Get it up. I'm going to have to grab another piece of paper towel because I done spilled mica powder on that one and it's flaking off everywhere. This, I won't too much worry if there is any brown in here because this will be the grass area and that could give the grass a little bit more depth. But I do want to get those other colors out. Yes, honey, that is coming along beautifully. It's like a picture, it's coming, it's just all coming together. I'm just lightly laying that over there, making sure it doesn't rub. I want to get this area here in green. It's a pretty good area, so that's good. This mica powder comes from iteachcrafts.com. It is called Fairy Dust, my love, because it has an iridescent glow. This mica powder has a glittery glow to it already. Almost go. So you were asking if I let the mica powder sit for a little bit. Yeah, I don't pour the epoxy right away. Usually at the end, it'll be sitting because that's when I'll go through and I'll do my cleanup. I'll do if I miss the section or I feel like a section needs a little bit more, or if I over colored on a section. So yeah, it is sitting for a little bit. The most important thing is to not rub this mica powder in very hard. Okay. It's just to not rub it in very hard because if you do, you're gonna have to soak your mold to get the colorant off. And you can always go over a second time if you want the area to be darker. Or you can mix the colors to get yourself a darker color. And I'm going to go down a little bit here and across here to put the grass under the animal's feet. Again, I'm being super, super intentional. Well, welcome, Ms. Brown. Yes, this is our mica powder. Uh-oh, I'm glitching a little bit. Uh-oh, here we go. Trying to get it into focus for you. That's the mica powder. Hopefully I don't glitch for too long. I am live in 3 different places, and sometimes Facebook don't like that, and I'll get glitchy. Now, all the places that I want a particular color to be, I'm trying to put it there because remember, I'm going to cover this in black. So anything that's not filled will then be filled in black. So you want to make sure that you're covering up. And remember, we're going to try to do this outer line here in gold. So we want to kind of keep that clean there. Got a little bit here. I'm going to remove that. This is a part of her head wrap. So we'll get some of those colors out of there. Got some green here. Just cleaning up now. This area here where I got the extra green. You can also clean up the acrylic because if you don't want to paint the mica powder, you can put this in all black, fill it up in all black, and then you can go and you can paint this with acrylic markers instead of dusting the mica powder. And so that's what I did with this one. Is I painted the outside of it. And then I will have to go ahead and seal it. I'm going to seal it with epoxy so that people can actually functionally use this. Now, if you just tell people, oh, it's just for decoration, don't sit your drinks on it or whatever, it's a decorative item, and it's not functional, then you don't have to seal it at all. But you can depend on people to do that. And it is a coaster. And that's what I will advertise it as. So I want to make sure that it is a functional item. If you seal that in Mod Podge and somebody sits their coffee mug down on it, and if the coffee mug is hot, super hot, it is going to melt that Mod Podge and probably the acrylic paint too. Also, because Mod Podge is water-based, they set something cold on there and it perspirates, then they will have rings inside of the Mod Podge that may go through the paint as well. So you make items with resin, make sure that it is functional if that's what you're making it for. If it's decorative, you got to make sure you're saying that to your customer, that it's a decorative item. All right, so let's put the tops back on some of these. Let's see here. This one goes to Blue Surrender, which we are done with here. Yes. Thank you so much, Ms. Brown. You can use Mica powder for tons of things. Your kids can use it to color slime. You can use it to color your epoxy. This is my Mica powder is cosmetic grade. So even if you have a makeup business, you can use this Mica powder for lip gloss, for lipstick. It's cosmetic grade, so you can use this to make makeup. Honey, you want to go out, you get ready to go out, you need some makeup to match your outfit, and you can't find the right eyeshadow, but your Mica powder from I Teach Crafts got the right shadow going, the right color going on, you can slap it on your face, baby, because it's cosmetic grade, which means it can be used in makeup. So it's safe for the skin, it's hypoallergenic. So this has more than one function than just crafts, you guys. I made sure that it was cosmetic grade. So you can use it for anything, not just for crafting. You can make soaps. You can make candles. All with the Mica powder. So now we're going to go in and we're going to do our C real quick. Yes. And it already has like that little glittery iridescent shine to it. So each color has a bunch of colors inside of it, really, even though it shines through with that color. I think this is the blue that Miss Gabby likes. So with this one, I'm just going to try to go on the inside here as much as possible. And I'm going to probably try to clean my Mica powder off of the lines themselves. I just want to be really on the inside. And that's more than what I need. When I need some more, I'll grab that. And I'm doing this because I want the lines and the animals to have this black color. And I'm just going to push the powder that I already have around and move it where I need it to be. Now this is almost the same color as the mold, so it almost looks like I'm not putting anything down, but I definitely am. I have to make sure I clean that side of the mold there. Actually, nope, this can be blue too because of how I'm going to paint the outer layer. Yep. And we want to try to be even with the strokes. And I want to try to get all that loose powder down so that when I pour my epoxy, it's not really just floating everywhere. And we got this whole big area to be blue, so. And you only need a little bit of powder. Of course, the more powder you put down, the brighter the color. So if if it's not getting blue enough for you, you don't feel like it looks blue enough, then by all means you can go over it again, but do a little powder at a time. And remember to get your outside lining. So I'm just dumping what I have left on that one. I'm going to lay that one down for a second, come back in with this one so I can move this loose powder around. And if I feel like, again, like an area doesn't have the color that I want, the depth and the color that I want, I can always go back in and give it more. This does not have to be perfect. And I might leave the blue powder on the lines there a little. Just take a little bit of it off, so some of it could be black, some of it could be blue. You can be as intentional as you want. Yes, so the Mica powder is just going onto the mold with the Q-tip. That's it. I'm rubbing it, I'm coloring the mold so that when I pour the epoxy, these colors will show up on my mold. This is one way that you can get the color onto your mold. And the other way I'll show in just a second, which is by using acrylic paint. You can use the Mica powder to paint your mold a particular color. Like, for instance, I use gold on the one I'm getting ready to show in a minute. And this blue is very close to the color of my mold, so I'm trying to make sure that I really get all the areas of this blue. I'm going to have to come in and clean these animals up. I'm pushing around my powder, and this looks like it's colored to me. And make sure I get in the crevices. All right, now I'm going to come in and just clean my animals up a bit. Thank you so much for sharing. The way that I'm using it now, no, you don't have to seal it because you're going to pour epoxy on top of this. So the epoxy is what is going to seal it. Now, the acrylic paint, you're going to have to seal that one again because you want to make it functional as a coaster, unless you tell your customer this is a decorative item, don't sit nothing hot on it, blah, 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 blah. Make sure that you add that in the instructions for your item so that they're not calling you telling you that their coaster melted. The painted one, yes, you definitely have to seal. Gotta seal it. And I'll show that one in a second for people that weren't on when I first showed it. Right now, I'm just using a little bit of water and alcohol to go through and get that blue mica off my animals because I'm going to pour the top layer black. So anything that I don't paint will fill in black. And I see a little area here that does not have a lot of blue in it, which sucks because I just cleaned my animals. But I want more blue in that area. I'm going to try to steer clear of my animals with this extra powder. And again, you want to try to make sure that you don't have a lot of extra powder in there when you go to lay your epoxy, or it'll be floating in your epoxy. So you can blot a little to get up that extra powder. Kind of pick it up, and then you can move around. You can also give a little bit of blow, but you got to make sure it's a strong blow so that that color doesn't blow into another one of your colors. And this mold set is on the website. And the set is $34.99 for the set, or you can buy the mold singly at $19.99 each. The coaster set comes with 4. And the tray mold set just comes with the tray mold set. I'll show you guys what the coaster looks like in a second. Again, I'm just cleaning as I go so that when we are done painting, I can lay the epoxy. This is going to take 10 ounces of epoxy. Now, a way that you can figure out how much epoxy your mold is going to take is you can get you a measuring cup. I have the little measuring cup set from Walmart. And I start by pouring a cup of water in there. And then I do, 1/4 or 1/2, depending on how much room it looks like is left in there. And that's how you're able to tell how much epoxy you're going to need. So pour water in your mold first to see how much epoxy you're actually going to need. And upon measuring this, it's going to take 10 ounces. I have some green left up here that I don't want there. Y'all might not be able to see it, but I can. All right, so that's how we're coming along so far. Right now, all we have left to paint is her. We have her little hair right there. And we have her skin. This open area, we will leave black. The animals, we're going to leave those black. I just see a little bit of dust here on my animals, which probably will be okay because they are going to be black. And a little bit of color in them may give it a little bit of depth to the animal. Give the animal a little depth there. Yeah, I love this. This is so this is the other method, you guys, to fill the mold using your mica powder to color your epoxy. And what I did, because I wanted the facing of this mold to be really, really gold, is I just dusted the inside of the mold with the 24 karat gold epoxy that we have, that 20 epoxy, mica powder that we have on the website. It's a 24 karat gold. That's what this color is, that gold color, how it comes out. So I dust it first, and then I put a little bit of the mica powder inside of my epoxy to color the epoxy. Look at that beautiful marble gold color. Also sprinkled a little bit of glitter in here, which you can't even really tell where the glitter starts and the epoxy and the mica powder begins, because the mica powder itself has a glittery shine to it already. And then what I did to do the outside of this one is I used acrylic paint markers from Amazon. Extra fine tip point, and that is how I colored this. So that's the two ways that you can do this mold. And this, because I painted the top with the acrylic paint, I am going to have to put another layer of epoxy over it, very, very small. I'm just going to take my finger and just go over it just to make sure that my paint stays. I'm going to turn 2 cups upside down and sit it on top of the cup. Make sure that I don't have any drip coming off the sides. That's why I'm going to use my finger method. We'll pour a little bit in the middle and just use my finger to go over. Hopefully my paint is dry enough to do that. I painted it hours ago, so it should be. And we'll be able to seal that with the epoxy. Okay, so I'm going to do her hair. In black. Ooh, a lot of black, a lot of black. Where's my paper towel? And I'm just using the loose powder that I have and spreading it around. And I am going to put a little bit more black on here. So again, if I want a darker color, I'll just go over it again with the mica powder, but I'm still only adding in a little at a time. I'm not pouring a bunch on there. And I really could have left her hair alone because I'm going to cover it in black. But that just means her hair will be super black, so that's cool. It'll really stand out. I'm going to see if I can just blow that black out the way a little bit there. Okay, now I'm going to do her inside part here for her hair bonnet or her hair wrap. Now I'm going to make sure I get those dark colors out of there. I could have left her hair alone. Okay. And I think the inside of that we're going to do in the punch. So we're going to be using the Punch Fairy Dust Mica Powder from iteachcrafts.com, my loves. Also, this week on the site, don't forget about the angel wings that we have on sale. They're at the lowest price that I'll probably ever put them at. $5 a necklace, because I always offer those with 2 discs. And I'm going to dust them on here since I got such a big area there. And then I'm just going to move my powder. You don't need a lot. This Mica powder, this is 10 grams. You get 10-gram bottles, and it'll last you a very long time. You could probably paint 100 of these molds with with the Mica powder, even if you were just using one one color to color your epoxy. Just takes a couple of little drops of the Mica powder. And again, the more color you add, the brighter the color will be. And I wish the camera was picking up all of the shimmer that's coming from this Mica powder. And we'll do a little cleanup right here, right here, right here, right here. That paper towel method will help you out a lot too with keeping certain areas clear. Dang it. That part is going to be black, so we definitely want to get rid of that. And again, my cleanup is just water and alcohol. And you basically could use water, but I just feel like the alcohol gets it up a little bit faster. And I just go wet and dry. I use a lot of dang on Q-tips. I'm going to use a lot of Q-tips with this one. The coaster, I didn't use as many when I painted that one. Dang it. She got to be chocolate. So we want to make sure we get that pink out of there. Because we'll be making her chocolate. Dang it. I might need to grab a paper towel for this section here. Now, come on, pink. I know you was the biggest little area, but you ain't got to do me like this. It wants to get everywhere now. Okay, so now we're going to paint her. And we'll be rounding it out. Then we can pour our epoxy. It's starting to come together. If I turn it around for you guys to see her. You see her skyline there. You see her tree. See the little mound there, her grass area. And you can make out our animals there, a giraffe, a lion. I think it's a pig. Or it might be a goat. a little flamingo there, I think. And then we have a hippo and an alligator down there. So she's coming together. And now we do her face. Let me grab more paper towel. Just ran out, used all the paper towel on the roll over here. Now her eye area, if we really want to get on up in that G thing, we could really get in there and do some things with her eye area. I do have like a little iridescent white or silver that I could put in there for her eye. And I might do that just very lightly so that it looks white.
That looks really beautiful.
Thank you, Minnie.
You're welcome.
I'm going to not paint the lining around her face like I did the lining for everything else because I want that line to be black. Remember, we're going to pour black over the top of this. So I want the line around her face to be black. And I want to give even strokes. Making sure that I don't have a lot of loose powder. And you see, I'm just moving the powder along that I already have on the canvas here. It does not take much. I'm being very gentle.
Don't rub too hard.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go in and clean these lines here up to take the brown off. As much brown as I can off because I want them to be black. And go back and get some of this loose powder here. As I can use it. And remember, because we're going to give this a backing of black and it's not going to be clear, a clear backing. We want to make sure that we fill in all the colors or all the areas, should I say, that we want to have color. Because if not, then those areas are going to be filled in with black. Make sure that you guys are sharing. Share the live. And this is, again, just one method. I'm going through and I'm just being artistic and I'm, using my imagination, doing the colors. And this is just one way of brushing on the Mica powder to color the mold. You can also paint the mold with acrylic paint or paint the finished product. I am going to test out my mold. And I did a little bit earlier to see if I could actually use the acrylic paint on the mold. And I colored one little section of it. I let it sit for a minute and then I was able to get it off with alcohol. But I don't know how the epoxy will act. And I haven't seen anybody actually paint their mold with acrylic paint. So I am going to test it out and see if it works. And I'll let y'all know. Remember, I'm trying to get in there and get all the spaces that I want to have brown, because if I don't, they will be black. So I'm not worried about her eyebrow line here. That will fill in black. But I do want to clean up around the eyes and that little line right there by the nose. That's going to give her a little depth. I want to go in there and make sure. And I'm going to make sure I'm trying to keep this line around her face clear of the brown also, because I want that to be in black. So I'm going to go in and try to do a little cleanup. So if I was doing just a tray and I was doing it like this, I would probably charge anywhere between $75 to $80, because essentially this is a hand painted item. If I was just doing it like tricolor, and I wasn't doing it with this much detail, probably about 50. Shoot, I almost said a cuss word, y'all. Trying to keep my line clear here. And again, you can try to get it as perfect as possible, but we all know that sometimes it just don't work out, did we? But you try to come close. I'm trying to be super intentional with where my colors are. And Gucci is just doing the most with this, y'all. Y'all don't have to paint it like this. But if you do, look at how gorgeous it's going to be. And I might not be able to get as close in there as them lines as I want to remove that brown. There we go. Ow, I did it. So I just took the whole cotton part off the Q-tip to go in here because I want these lines to be black. And I'm going to clean them up as good as I possibly can. And since the black is going to be darker than the brown, I think it'll be okay. But we shall see. All right, so that's her face, baby. Got her face together. We're going to come down here, get her neck. And we're going to make that necklace the same color as her headband, that punch. this part right here essentially could be, well, this part is her, yeah, this whole part needs to be black. So here, here, and here, that goes to her jawline. So we'll leave that. And try it again to give even strokes. Try to make sure you get all the parts colored in that you want to be a particular color. Because in order for these to turn out right when you're doing this mica, I don't suggest just pouring clear epoxy on the back. You need some kind of color. And you want to try to make even strokes. We'll color this part. Then we're going to go in and do a cleanup after we're done. We're almost at the finish line, y'all. And what I'm going to do for the mix is like a half and half type thing. Simply because I have smaller cups and I like to mix epoxy in smaller batches. I don't like to make really big batches. Oh, I know, Miss Brown. I don't want to cuss because I don't want Facebook to or YouTube to censor me. They won't let me monetize with too much cussing. Even though I see a lot of YouTubers nowadays that just be cussing and drinking and smoking and they got commercials running through their channels, honey. They just let them run wild with the COVIDs. That's what Granny Gucci called COVID. COVIDs. And I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna clean up the brown when I'm done with all of this. I got a little extra powder up here, so I'm gonna blot. And I'm not blotting very hard. I'm just trying to pick up that loose powder and then I can lay it down, lay some of it down over here. Because I need more powder over here. I want her to be even toned. Again, the more mica powder you use, the more intense the color. And you can always go over something twice, but just throw a little bit of powder down at a time. All right, now let's do her shoulders here. And then we'll do her lips. I'm going to try to go around the edge here with gold, and then we're pouring our epoxy, folks. Well, mixing it and then pouring. And I'll take like some Q&A while I'm doing that. I'm going to go through and just clean those lines up after I'm done. Trying to see if I can get some of that loose powder down here. Use what I have on the canvas already. I'm going to just dump All right, now we go around and just clean this up real quick. Real quick, real fast. Remember, I want this line to be black, so I'm going to try to remove the brown as much as I can, at least. And then, oh, we got to paint her lips and her necklace and her earring, unless we just want to leave the earring. No, we can't leave it black. We're going to paint the middle of the earring here. Probably the same color as that. And we can leave the rest of it black. So again, now I'm just going through and I'm just trying to clean my lines up. That's the tedious part. The Q-tip, like I said, it does give you a lot of control, but I want to try these silicone brushes that I've seen too that have a finer point tip, like the acrylic pens do. Just started using epoxy. Okay. Yeah, epoxy. You just have to respect epoxy. You have to respect this authority. Use it in increments. Follow the directions that they have. I don't rush my epoxy. I don't stick it in my food oven to try to make it dry faster. I don't do any of that. I don't microwave it. None of that. Some things you're just not meant to rush. Now, they do have an epoxy dryer that I was considering buying, but I need to do more research on it simply because I need to know when it's blowing out, when it's blowing, where are the fumes from the epoxy going? Is there some kind of filter in there that's catching the films, or is the films just blowing out in my house? That's my worry about the dryer, because epoxy is a chemical that can be dangerous if you do not use it correctly. And the films are toxic. You want to make sure that you're in a well ventilated area when you're using it. I'm not going to stress too much about this down here, but I do want my line to be kind of straight. Because the black is going there, it may overshadow the brown. But if it doesn't, I don't want it to be as visible. Come on, Mr. Brown. I know you can come over here. I want this whole part right here to be black. Oopsie. Okay, now her necklace, and then y'all, her lips and her earring, and then we mix. Tried to avoid this necklace when I was painting the brown, but the line there is really thin, so it wasn't easy. But I'm doing pretty good cleaning here without removing my brown from her. I just really want the pink to shine through, and I want those little um, diamonds in her necklace. I want those to be black. When I find an easier way to clean this up, and you know alcohol dries quickly, so you got to work a little fast once it gets wet. To get it off, I just want this one little area here. Come on, I know you can come. There you go. There you go. I want her necklace to be super pink. Okay, now let's go get our punch. We'll try to make it as pink as we can, babies. And what I'm going to do to try to help us out a bit here, that may not help. I almost want to see if we could do this little ingenuity here. To protect my brown there without wiping it away. Oh, that's what I was trying to avoid. Spilling the pink on the brown. So it's a little part of the brown. Now we have to go back in and clean up. Just drop a little piece of brown there. And I'm just doing this paper towel like this to protect my brown. My necklace may not be as pink as I want it to be. So I'm just gonna lightly wiping up that pink that got away from my paper towel there without destroying. Got a little bit of pink over here. Remember, anything that we don't fill in will be black. So we want to make sure we get as much color as we possibly can on all the pieces that we want to have color, because black is very, very overpowering. I'm just trying to get this to be a little bit more pink. And the little blow looks like took my extra pink away there. So that's fine. All right, her lips, her lips, her lips, her lips. The same pink, I'm thinking. And I wanted her lips. Well, we'll just leave the outside line black, and I'll see how that looks for the sake of time, because those little areas have a lot of cleanup. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, it looks really, really pretty. Now it does take some time, as y'all can see, to do it this way, but the results are just gorgeous. And it's a handmade item. And so honestly, really you can charge whatever you want for it because you're hand painting it. So it's going to be one of a kind if you're doing it this way. It will be one of one. Even if you did it with the same colors and everything, it's still not going to be the same. Exactly the same. And I'm sitting here thinking another way, do the you can do the mold, and then if you had like a spray painter, you could spray paint it. You could spray paint the colors that you wanted. So now I'm just cleaning up this part because we're gonna try to go around this part with gold. But you know what? I may not do that just to save time. We'll just leave it. And we are gonna take this part out here. Oh, her earring. That's the last thing we gotta paint, y'all. The inside here, because that is going to like her jawline. So I'm gonna say we're gonna paint the inside there. See how that works out for us. And we're just gonna use what we have on the canvas. So we have no more loose powder to move around. It doesn't take much. That's the beauty of it. So you can Mica forever.
because it doesn't take much. Just a little bit more, just want the color to be consistent with the other side. And we have this little bitty, itty bitty polka dot part right here. That may be lighter than I want it to be, but at least it's got some pink in it. So let's go through and clean this back up. Because remember, this is going to be black.
Sorry, y'all. I think my phone unplugged from the charger and died on us. So hold on one second. Sorry. Hello, what brand of acrylic pens are you using? So right now I'm using the Mica Powder, but my acrylic pens are these from Amazon. And I'll have a link for you guys. And the Mica Powder is on iteachcrafts.com. Fairy dust. I have 17 different colors of the fairy dust. That's our image, guys. So we have our faded out sky. The parts that we have that aren't colored in, they are going to be black. And we're going to do that with our epoxy. So I'm just looking now for anything. Let me see if I can get Minnie to bring me the charger. Cameron, Nicole. Mommy needs the charger to the cell phone. The cell phone. Like, what's your problem? Oh, the computer sitting on the button. I'm like, what's going on up in here? So I'm just cleaning this big part, and then I'm gonna start mixing the epoxy so the phone can charge, and then I'll go back over to that camera when it's time to pour the epoxy. And we can do some Q&A. Go ahead and put the phone on it, please. Or plug it into the pink box. And then I can plug it into the phone. Thank you.
Do you still hear the drawing going?
Yes, ma'am.
It needs to be done before you're done with your wallet.
Okay.
So,
Thank you. And also, you guys, don't forget that you need to clean the inside part here. Yeah, they're going to be black when we pour over the black epoxy. So everything that doesn't have a color will end up black. And I'm still deciding what I want to do with the middle of her eye there. I have silver. I think I might drop a little bit of silver in there. But right now, what I'm going to do, you guys, is just go around the inside and clean the inside crevice. Minnie, bring me that laptop stand that's in the printing, the shipping section in the living room, my table. We got a shipping section in the living room, y'all. I'm going to see if I can put the laptop up on there so you guys can see me clean it. No. It's black. It's on the actual table. It lifts the laptop. Yes, ma'am. And I'm just making sure that I clean this because I want my rim to be black. I don't want it to have any color in it. Here we go. Yeah, the phone died. I forgot to tell you to bring me the charger in here. There we go. Oh, now we on the light button again. All right, so now you guys can see again. Turn the light back on. Okay. Y'all see my mess. Oh, dang it. I did knock this over. Jeez Louise. I got a mess going here. But it's all right because it's all contained on these garbage bags. So all I have to do when I get up is pick up all my Mica powder, roll up the garbage bags, and all of this mess just goes right into the garbage can. No fuss, no muss. I don't have to worry about powder being all over anything and just keep everything in my area. So I'm going around, like I said, and just cleaning the edges. And again, on the site, you can get the set where you can get the coaster set and also the tray. The coaster mold comes with 4 coasters and the coaster holder that's in the shape of Africa. And it has the 4 feet that will go on the bottom of the shaper, of the coaster holder. Now I'm going to just try to get as much of this excess Mica powder out of the lining as I can so that the edge of my tray will be as black as it can be. And this is just all extra dust from where we would doing the other part. Water and alcohol mix. Dang it. I'm right there on the dang on Mica powder, adding more of it. And then I done touched it. I'm messing myself up here. I added more dang on powder to the inside because I touched it where I spilled that punch. That punch Mica powder. I want to get it out of there. And I mean, it's just the edge. And like I said, it's not going to be perfect, but try to get as close to it as possible, you know? That's right. Make it as nice as you possibly can. Right? Like I said, it ain't going to be perfect. It's probably still going to be a couple of spots that I look at and be like, oh, I should have cleaned that. But it's going to be absolutely gorgeous. I think it's going to be beautiful. That's it so far. I love it. So we're going to put this to the side to show you the acrylic paint. This is me using the 24 karat gold Mica powder. And I dusted the mold first with the 24 karat gold because I wanted the front to just be really, really solid gold. And then I applied a little bit of Mica powder to my epoxy, and I poured it, and you see the back has that marble gold look. I absolutely love it. And I'm going to be sealing this with just a thin layer of epoxy, just using my finger to go over with the thin layer of epoxy. So once we mix the epoxy and we pour over, we let the mold sit for 24 hours and then we demold it. And I'm going to add black to the actual epoxy. I'm just cleaning up a little bit here. Dang, y'all, we've been on here for 2 hours already. It didn't even feel like 2 hours. Time flies when you're having fun. I'm just putting this away because I don't want to spill my Mica powder, and I still have a tremendous amount left of each color of my Mica powder. A tremendous, tremendous amount. Because those are 10-gram jars, you get a lot of Mica powder. And as you can see, even doing that, you do not have to use a lot to get beautiful colors. Even when we do the black, I'm going to use more, of course, than I used to dust with, because I want the black to be really, really black. And between using the Mica powder and the acrylic, I like the Mica powder a little bit better for darker colors, but because I want like a super, super black, and oh, I can't move this yet. I want like a super, super black, and my black, the black sky, is an iridescent black. So I may add a little bit of black acrylic paint, just a little bit, probably from my marker. I probably just do a couple of dips down in the cup and then pour the epoxy into that cup to give it a little bit more black. We'll just get some. Oh, look, it made the bag so pretty. Look at all them colors on the bag. That is so pretty. I want to keep it now. I want to keep the bag now. All right, where's the gloves? Okay. So we're going to mix this epoxy. Do you cover your mold and trying to keep it free? Yes, I usually will put something over it like the Dollar Tree silver pans, the ones you can get for $1. Or I will put it in a place where I can put like either a box over it or foil over it. Especially if it's a day that's like really windy or I've ran the air conditioning and all those little particles are flying around. But you know, when you're doing things that have a lot of color in them, unless it's something like a bug, it's not gonna really show up. All right, so we need to mix our epoxy. I always double cup these because epoxy does get hot when you are mixing. Okay, so I'm using the Envirotex epoxy. You need the same amount of part A as you do of part B. You have to have equal amounts. These are little 8-ounce cups, so I'm eyeballing half the cup. And I'm just going to put the same amount into the second cup. That way I know that I have equal parts. And this is because this is going to take 10 ounces of epoxy. I'm going to have another little bit mixed into another cup. Need a little bit more of this. You have to make sure you have equal parts. If you do not, your epoxy will not cure properly. Cups are throwing me off. Hold on. We want to make sure that we cure properly. Because mommy's using epoxy. A little bit more. Yep. Well, there it is. You got mommy 4 more of these cups from the rolling cart, or you could just roll that cart over here by me. That would be great. Yes, I would like peanuts, please, ma'am. Thank you. 4. So I'm just going to stir in epoxy. I'm folding over, thank you, right now. And I'm using this method at first because as you can see, I'm almost to the brim of my cup. This epoxy calls to be stirred for 3 minutes. So while I am doing that, I will take any questions that you guys may have, whether it be about epoxy, about using acrylic paints. Minnie said about her. Hello there, John. How are you? And so when you are mixing your epoxy, you want to make sure that you try to stay mixing in the same direction. I always go in and I do a fold over as well, like I did in the beginning, to make sure I'm folding over. And you can see when your epoxy starts to mix and blend together. I try to blend as slow as possible when I can. Try not to be in too big of a rush because the faster you mix, the more bubbles you get. And you see a lot of the epoxy stirrers, because there are some stirrers you can buy that are on the market. They stir really, really slow. And that's one way. I hope I was answering. I didn't even see your question, Miss Candace, but I was answering it. The slower you stir, the less bubbles you'll get. But when you get the bubbles in, you're going to get some bubbles in your tray. What you want is you want a warm environment to do this epoxy in. Some people use a candle warmer to keep the epoxy at a certain temperature while you're working with it. The warmer it is, the faster you have to work with it because then it's starting its curing process. So the two chemicals are not active until you mix them together. And you will notice that sometimes as you mix, you will feel the cup getting hot, or you can feel the heat coming from the epoxy. And that's because it is a heat curing polymer. So it needs heat in order to cure. And that's why it cures better in about maybe 65 to 70 degrees. And so you will find that if you keep the room warm that you're actually mixing in, that your epoxy won't be as thick. It'll be easier for you to stir. You won't have as many bubbles. Or when you do go to release the bubbles with your heating torch or your heat gun, you won't have as many to release. And so I am going to heat this up just a little bit with my heating gun. This calls to be stirred, like I said, for 3 minutes. If you are a beginner with epoxy or you don't know how long you think 3 minutes is in the beginning, now I'm at the point where I can eyeball it. I can look at it and tell when it's finished. But if you're a beginner, get a Dollar Tree timer or set the stopwatch on your phone for 3 minutes and stir for them 3 minutes, honey. Because if you do not mix it properly, it will not cure properly. And when I mean by will not cure, you'll have dents. You can get big old fish bubbles, which are like big fish eyes, which are really big bubbles. Um, Also, it'll be sticky, or it'll have sticky sections, and it'll be gummy. So, like if you've ever had epoxy that you're like, oh, it's been 3 days and it's still sticky or it's still gummy, that means that you did not mix it properly, and it's never going to cure. And so I'm looking down in here just to make sure that everything is mixed in properly. I'm going to put this to the side for a second, and I am going to work quickly with my second batch because remember, I do need more than what I just stirred up. I need maybe about 2-3 ounces more. So you know what? I'm gonna eyeball that one too. Get it? Let me get a little bit more. Just a little bit.
Don't forget to put the top back on so it doesn't fall.
I think the top fell on it, bro.
Yeah, let me see.
I think it's even. Take them out to measure. You can also just draw a line on the cup, and then you'll know exactly where to pour as well. That's just another way to do it. Once you have the epoxy mix, and see, I can see how fluid this epoxy is, that I got it mixed good. It's starting to heat. You want to work as quickly as you can with it. Some epoxy gives you a little bit more time to work with than others. What you don't want is for it to sit in the cup and start curing. So if you are in the middle of doing something else, don't start epoxy. You want to be able to mix and give it your undivided attention. And if you can see the consistency of this one, let me see my light. Don't want to touch it, but I feel like it got real dark for you guys. Let me see. Let me do it like this. It's like casting it. Okay, there we go. I feel like that's a little bit of better light for you guys. You're very welcome, Ms. Brown. So this is my second little batch, and you can see this is really thick. It's really, really thick because we don't have it mixed all the way. And this one I am stirring a little faster because I do have my other epoxy over there. So I'll probably have a little bit more bubbles in this one, but it's okay because I'll get rid of all of them with no problem. Also, you want to make sure you're scraping the side of the cup when you're going around. And every now and again, I'll do a fold over to fold it over in there. You want to make sure that you get it mixed really good. And you can see I stirred the other one really slow. And you see I'm stirring this one really fast. And I'm getting a lot more bubbles. So the faster you stir, because you're stirring up air, you're putting little air pockets in there. Some epoxy labels will tell you to mix in 1 cup and then pour the epoxy in another cup to help with the degassing process. And that's basically what they mean. It's supposed to help get rid of the bubbles. So that's what degassing is getting rid of the bubbles because you're creating those air pockets in there when you stir. This one I got like really big bubbles popping off in there because I'm stirring it quicker than I did the other one to get it all mixed in there right. And it still has that really thick consistency compared to my other one, so I'm not done yet. I'm going to give this one just a stir here to make sure that it doesn't start curing on me. And it stays fluid like that for me, just like that. You guys can see. Just like that, almost like water. This one is not like that. It's thicker. So it's not ready yet. Hand me that heating gun after you put your clothes that way, because it's going to block you off. Mm-hmm. Right, Ms. Brown, yes. You just have to respect the epoxy. You have to respect it. Yes. Thank you. Ooh, those clothes smell good. It's nothing like fresh laundry, y'all. I love fresh laundry. Okay, well, make sure that your clothes is all the way dry. What you put it on? The towels? How wet were they?
I don't want to put on 10. That makes no heat.
Oh, okay.
So I don't want it to be good. But that was just good.
Okay. Teach me young, y'all. Minnie be doing her own laundry. Yes. She do laundry good, too. I know. You do my laundry, too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't fold. We got to work on that. Got to work on you folding. But you good at doing the laundry. The towels? Because they're thicker than your clothes. Well, just check your clothes and make sure all of those are dry. Okay. Yeah, so I want you guys to see, and this one is more, but you see the difference? This one looks a lot clearer than this one. So there's less bubbles in this one because I stirred slower. And there's more bubbles in here because I was stirring really fast trying to get this done. But that's okay because I'm going to remove all the bubbles. All the bubbles will be removed. All the bubbles. All right, so let me do this. Now I'll put on a fresh pair. I don't want to go and get my bottles of acrylic paint. So I'm just stamping the bottom of this. Actually, oh, is this a used cup? Dang it, this one was used. I'm going to stamp the bottom of this cup with my acrylic marker. When you move the marker up and down, that's how you get more paint to come out. I'm just stamping a couple of times there. Okay. And then I have my Black Sky Mica Powder. I'm going to pour some of that there in the bottom. So I want it real black. That's why I added a little bit of acrylic paint. When you're adding the acrylic paint, you have to be careful, really with any coloring, that you don't add too much because that will change the drying time and the consistency of your epoxy. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. You just have to respect the chemical, respect epoxy. Okay, follow the directions that are on the box. Follow the instructions, and you'll be just fine. I'm pouring this in here. I want to get it colored. Change the color. And it's hot, boy. Yeah. All right, now making sure I stir this with very good consistency. And you can see that it's changing colors right before your eyes. I'm making sure I'm scraping that bottom portion. I'm making sure also that all of my paint and all of my mica powder are mixed in there good, really good. You can do a fold over there. Now I want it even more black. More black, more black. So I'm going to add a little bit more. The same thing when you're brushing with the mica powder, when you're adding it, add a little in at a time to change your color. And let me redouble this cup, honey, because that epoxy is hot in that cup. If you're not using the right, I have these hard plastic cups from Amazon. If you have those red Solo cups, sometimes they'll melt on you if your epoxy gets too hot. Yep, that is the chemical reaction that is happening. It gives you heat. So make this really black. So now I can see I have like this satin color black. And I think this is going to give me the black that I want. All right, now I'm going to color my second part too. And I'm going to try to make sure at least that I get them at that same consistency with the color. Or do I have a little black? Oh, look at here. I have a little black right here. We might throw that in there. Who knows? Let's see how this turns out. I'm just pushing my pen. And I actually have some black acrylic here in my rolling cart. But I want to make this black the same way that I made that one. No, those are pajamas. And again, we're going to watch that color change right before our very eyes. I'm going to mix. And I'm just looking at them to make sure that I have the same color blacks. And I'm going to put just a sprinkle. More of the acrylic paint in there. Ooh, that black is so pretty. Yes, you are, Pooh. That is really, really pretty. All right, so we're looking about the same now. And now, my loves, y'all hear Minnie? I thought I was your only love. Y'all come get this little jealous thing. Now all we have to do is pour into our mold. And this is hot, 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 hot. Yes, Lord. This light is helping it too because that light is letting off heat. And epoxy is self-leveling. You see how it's seeking and it's trying to find itself. All right, so now we're going to use our heating tool and we're going to go ahead and start popping some of our bubbles. I have it on high. I don't want to get this too much on to my silicone mold. Yes, they can take heat, but you can also burn them. We got our coloring matched pretty well. You can't tell that we had two different mixtures. Okay. So we let that rest a minute. Let the bubbles come up. Now we have one there that's going to come up. You can see it right there. Night, Miss Cindy. Minnie say good night. I know I'm on a little bit long, on a whole hour. Well, only like 38 minutes. I'm usually on for 2 hours, and I've been on for 2 hours and 38 minutes. So it's not that bad. And see, as we wait, bubbles start to pop up. So you have to give the epoxy a little bit of time to rest for that air to come up. And sometimes they'll pop on their own. Let's see what. Huh? What? And I don't want to really push this around too much. So I'm just trying to pop the bubbles that I see. Don't want to disrupt my Mica. And you can also go through with the torch to get the smaller bubbles. You don't want any bubbles because that means you're going to have a lapse in color. So now I'll let this sit for a little bit longer. See what bubbles come up to the top. You can also use a torch. I meant to get mine refilled, but I didn't. So we have to just use my heating tool tonight. But a torch will take care of like little bitty bubbles that you may have. And you see some of the bubbles, like I just seen a bubble come up and just pop all on its own. So some of the bubbles will rise up to the top and they'll just pop all by themselves. But you do have to kind of watch it at least after the first 30 minutes. And you can walk away and go do things and come back and you'll still be able to pop those bubbles. But at least the first 30 minutes while it's starting to really set good, you want to make sure that you're watching it and that you get any bubbles that pop up. And me right now, any that I see that's coming up, I'm just getting them while I'm on with y'all. But I'll usually leave this and go do my thing, honey. I think this is going to be beautiful. We will be able to demold it tomorrow. You also want to make sure that you don't get too close to the epoxy with your heating tool because you don't want to scorch the epoxy. You don't want your epoxy to start smoking. It's okay to leave a little bit of this in your cup with your stick. That way you don't have to touch your project at all. You can check how far along the project is coming or what stage the epoxy is in because it goes through 4 different stages. What stage the epoxy is in by leaving the stick in here. So if I want to know before I even go to touch it to demold it tomorrow if it is sticky or if it is cured all the way, I can just touch the epoxy inside of the cup and that way my fingerprints are not all over my project because that can happen too. So this one has the most, so we'll put the sticks in there. And that's how we will test our project. to see if it's coming along the way we need it to. You want to make sure that you have your mold on a level surface, because if it's tilted or leaned in any way, your epoxy will run that way. It's going to run towards where it's level at. And again, just keep your eyes out for about 20 to 30 minutes after. The warmer it is, sometimes if I'm doing an epoxy project and I'm here in the kitchen, I will turn my heat press on low and leave the heat press on, because the heat press is right here, and so it keeps the epoxy level. And then with the heat press, you have the heat press on, say, for 10 or 15 minutes while you're mixing. It keeps everything warm. It takes a while for that heat press to cool down. So once I get that heat press heated up, I can go ahead and turn it off. It's off. I don't have to worry about it blowing up or anything like that, but it's still pushing heat towards my epoxy while it's in the early stages of curing, because that's when you're going to get the bubbles, when it's in the early stages and starting to cure. You're not going to get bubbles once it's really set, right? So like I said, after about 20 or 30 minutes, then you are no longer on bubble watch. And if you can keep the area warm, then you're good to go. Right? So I'm going to move from this area because the laptop is in front. Well, let's move this over here for just a second. Put that on the cart. So again, the colors that we used for our Mica tonight are the Mica powder that we used was Fairy Dust Mica Powder from iteachcrafts.com. We have 17 colors on the website. We have the tray molds that were used tonight. This is the coaster mold. You get 4 coasters and the coaster holder, plus you get the bottoms to those coasters, and those are on the website. They're right on the front of the website. And then you act, and if you want to get the set, you get the tray mold as well with that set. And the set is $34.99 on the website, and they're $19.99 each. Go ahead. If you buy them separately. And don't forget our sale of the week, because remember I told you guys I was going to try to do a sale of the week for you guys, and every week has a little item that's on sale or a little discount or something like that for the site, even if it's free files or something like that. But this week it is our angel wing pendant necklaces. These are on sale for $5 on the website. This is the lowest that they probably will ever go, for $5. With these, you actually get 2 discs. Nobody out here is giving you 2 sublimation discs when you buy sublimation jewelry. This is usually $7.25 because I give the 2 discs. You're able to get the 2 discs. Some places won't even sell you the extra disc, which I actually have coming to the website also, where you guys are going to be able to buy extra discs. Even for some sublimation items that I may not have on the site, you'll still be able to buy those extra discs. Because with these items like the jewelry, once you use the disc, if you mess up on it, you've just lost out on your money. Or you have to try to, search high and low to get a replacement disc, or go out and buy a whole nother item. But with these, you get 2 discs with each purchase, $5. We have silver and gold. The sale lasts until Sunday. Make sure that you stock up. I don't think that they're anywhere for $5. I think most sites have them for $6.50, something like that, $7. They're $7.25 on our site normally. So until May 2nd, these are going to be $5. The silver or the gold, you get 2 sublimation plates with those. So y'all don't miss out on that sale now, baby. Let me grab my bubbles. You also want to make sure that you don't have these bubbles so that it will lay flat. All right, so we're going to see how this turns out tomorrow. If you're not following, the Mica powder is $2.50 per bottle. And you get a scooper, a little scooper with each bottle. And you get a ton of it. This is 10 grams. And you see what I did with the Mica powder tonight. It only takes a little bit. So this bottle will last you forever. Forever. Because you only need a little bit of it. Let me grab the computer. I'm going to come around and come on from the other way. So we can get clothes on out. Let me unplug that. Lord, I'm sitting where Minnie usually eats at, honey, and let me tell you something. Minnie about to come in here and clean this. The Mica powder should show you which color is which by the name. Let me see. Let me just, if I go, I'm going to share my screen and go on the site. Each color has a name. So let me go here. Let me get up out of that. And hold on, let me go like I'm actually going to the site. Oh, I see what you're saying. I need to release the pictures. So when you hover over, if you look at the big picture, you can see what colors are which. I have individual pictures for each one of them. I just have to make sure that they populate on the site. But you can look at the big picture and see which colors that you would like. And if you hover over each one, it'll tell you what color you're picking. You see how I'm doing this? The Black Girl Magic, the lilac, and you can see them all there in the picture. I don't know why it didn't populate. I'm going to have to go in and make sure that those populate because it's only showing this main picture. And I added each individual one. But that's the colors. That's how you see the colors that we have. I have a couple of more blues I want to add in there too. Also on the site, you guys, we do have Sizzle, where you can buy now and pay later in 4 different payments. So if you wanted to stock up on the Mica powder or you wanted to stock up on the angel necklaces, you can do so and do it with Sizzle, where you have the 4 payments, and Sizzle will let you know how much it's going to cost you for those 4 payments. Make sure you click on our lovely lady right here to create your account or to make sure that you sign in before you place your order so that you can build crafts points. If you aren't signed up already for the Crafts Points program, make sure that you do, because you earn when you shop. And also, if you drop the link to I Teach Crafts, say you're in a crafting group and somebody says, "Oh, where'd you get your Mica powder from?" You can drop the I Teach Crafts link, and if they buy something from using your link, not only will you receive $5, but they will receive $5 as well. So both of you guys win. It's my way of giving back and having a affiliate program per se, which I hopefully will be able to expand, where y'all be able to earn money outside of money you can just spend in the store. So make sure you sign up for those crafts points because they come in handy, honey. Right? I'm going to stop my share here. Oh, and the angel wings, there's a little tab up there for them. And they're also on the front landing page. So stock up while you can, my loves. The sale ends on Sunday. Oh, and the molds as well. They're on the front landing page too, but you can always click on molds. And we have a few molds. We have the domino mold. Those are almost gone, y'all. The ashtray molds, the wheat leaf mold, we have the alphabet mold, and then we have our newest mold, the mother goddess molds. And it says you got 3 purchase options, y'all. So under style, you could do the tray mold, the coaster mold, or the tray and coaster set. Okay, so that's where you pick which one you want under style. They're $19.99 each, and then $34.99 if you buy them together. So you buy them together, you're saving $5 if you buy the actual set. All right. So I'm going to stop my share. Yes, I'm going to drop a link right now in the comments. I'm going to drop a link to the site itself. I just dropped that. And then it's going to look like I went away, but I didn't. I'm just going over here to grab y'all the mold link. I'm posting it. You may be able to see it on Facebook. YouTube may not be able to see it. Oh no, it did it. So it did it on Facebook and YouTube. So on Facebook and YouTube, I dropped the link to the mold and to the site itself, and then I'll drop the Angel Wings link for you guys as well. So it'll be right up in there. There you are, darling. So everybody has their links, darlings. You're very welcome, Miss Waters. That's the after sun. So get the pink bottle. Yeah, if you can fit them, Cam. The child and already took my swimsuit, y'all. She can fit my swimsuit. She done took my swimsuit. Now she want my sandals. I don't know what else to do. She gonna tell me what she gonna take of mine. Somebody, one of her aunties, come get her. I'm shipping. I'm no. One of your Gucci gang aunties need to come get you. The one that lived the furthest away. Thank you so much, Ms. Brown. Please make sure that you don't forget to sign up for those craft points and register for the site. Become a member, because I am going to be sending out member-only coupons and different points and different things like that. I got a lot of stuff coming through. Also, make sure that you guys join the I Teach Crafts group. That group I am working on revamping. So I want to get people in there. I want to get people posting. So if you're already a part of the group, you make something, go post it in there for me, y'all. Post it in there, especially if you make something that you seen on Friday Night Live, hashtag FNL, so I can come in there and see it. You can go in there, you can ask questions. I have it set up that if you put in the keyword help, it is going to send an alert out to the admins of the group so that we know to try to come into the group and get you help. If somebody hasn't already answered your question, I'm going to start using the unit section of that group. So go in there. If you haven't joined the I Teach Crafts group, it's called I Teach Crafts group. If you go to the Gucci Crafts page on Facebook, you can go ahead and just click join group and you can join the group from there. It's not a private group. I think we got about 2,000 members in there now. I'm trying to get us up to like 5,000 before my birthday. So before September, I'm trying to get 5,000 members in that group. So working on revamping it. If you don't already follow Gucci Crafts on Facebook, make sure that you follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on Facebook at Gucci Crafts, YouTube Gucci Crafts, Pinterest Gucci Crafts, Instagram Gucci Crafts, Snapchat Gucci Crafts, and Twitter Gucci Crafts. Gucci Crafts, Gucci Crafts, Gucci Crafts, Gucci Crafts on everything. I appreciate you guys for sticking with me tonight and watching. We've been on here for almost 3 hours, but you know what? After the week I had, y'all, I really needed this common craft to do, to paint. Your birthday's in September too, Miss Brown. What day? What day is your birthday? I really needed this time to chillax, to craft and paint, and I can't wait to demold our gorgeous mother to show you guys what she looks like. I'm gonna post it on YouTube and I'm gonna post it on Facebook. YouTube, it'll be in the little community section. You know, you can post on YouTube like you do on Facebook now. The 25th, girl, shut your mouth, gone Libras. I'm September the 26th. Look at that.
25th.
Yeah, she's July the 25th. Look at that. September the 25th. Go Libra. Yes. Girl, your mama should have held on one more day and you'd have been right on the 26th, right with me. But I love it. All right, you guys. I love you. I love you. I love you. I gotta go be a mom now. To my little mini. Yes, yes, yes. Love you. All right. So let me see. What did you say? Libra gang, yes. Somebody just said something about let me see. Hey, look at that. I just seen something that said, oh, it's not letting me purchase. Not letting you purchase what, Miss Sonia? Let me know what it's not letting you purchase before I get off so I can go in and fix it if something needs to be fixed. Or you can message me if it's something going on. Thank you, Miss Angeline. So it's only 2 goddess modes. So you have 3 purchase options. You can buy one, you can buy one or the other, or you can buy it as a set. So let me go. Like, I'm gonna try to purchase it real quick. Y'all may not see me on the screen, but I'm still here. I'm just gonna go in and make sure that everything's functioning right with the modes. Yes. Yes. So if I go on and I select tray and coaster, there it is. I add to cart, proceed to checkout. It successfully let me add it to the cart. Okay, Miss Miller, if you can't get it, inbox me and let me know because I was just able to successfully add it to my cart with no problem. So inbox me and let me know what the problem is and I'll try to get, help you. All right. Yeah. So inbox me and let me know what's going on. All right, you guys, I love you. I will see you next Friday. I'm live every single Friday, or at least I try to be every single Friday to do this show. Usually it's not 3 hours, but tonight I needed it, y'all, and I hope it was good for y'all soul too. And I will see you guys next Friday. Thank you so very much for watching. Minnie, make sure you say bye. Bye. See you guys next Friday.